Welcome back to Adrian's Avenue, and I'm so excited that you showed up today, and you're going to be glad that you're here too. As you can see, the title says How to Spend Money Without Going Broke. And I know you're saying, Adrian, I don't have a problem spending money. I will 100% agree with you. You don't have a problem spending money because spending money is not the problem. Having a plan to spend that money, that's where the issue comes in. So I think I have a few tips that can help you come up with a plan and make you better at spending money without going broke. Stay tuned for this one. There are several reasons people go broke with spending money. And one of the biggest reasons that they go broke when they're spending money is because they don't know where their money is going. They don't track their money, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. They have no idea. And this doesn't matter if you're using a credit card or if you're actually using cash. If you're not tracking how you're spending that money and where you spent $20 here, where you spent $10, where you spent $5, next thing you know, you get home and you're like, I had a 50 in my wallet and now I only have $2. What happened to it? You're not tracking where your money's going. So that is one of the reasons people go broke really, really fast. No matter how much money you make, if you're not tracking your money, you can go broke real easy. Another reason people go broke behind spending money is because they don't have limits or a strategy. You just spend, spend, spend. You don't have a limit as to, okay, I can only spend this much this month or this much for lunch every day. You don't have a strategy as to how you're going to spread that money out over the month, over the week, between paychecks. And so you just spend, 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 spend. So you need some type of limit or strategy in order to get that up under control and not see yourself going broke behind spending money. Yet another reason people go broke. They confuse a lifestyle upgrade with financial progress. Those two are on very different ends of the spectrum. A lifestyle upgrade is every time you get a raise or some more money into the household, you go up a grade in cars, you go up a grade in clothes, you just go to the next highest level that you want people to see you at. As far as financial progress, once you get a raise, if you start investing more money, that's financial progress. Just spending money on consumer items that, they may look good for a while, but they will be depreciating in the future is not such a great idea, and it'll make you go broke probably quicker than most things. But if you see yourself as progressing financially, you will actually be investing, getting assets that will either increase in value or give you some monthly income. So those two things are very, very different. The financial progress, normally people don't even know that it's happening in your life. If you do the lifestyle upgrades, it speaks volumes. People see it, your friends see it, they comment about it. They really don't care, you guys, but they'll comment about it. And then you have to pay that bill every month for that lifestyle upgrade. So let's be careful with that. Those are two different things, and let's not get into caught behind lifestyle upgrade and not actually progressing in your finances. And the last reason I will talk to you about going broke behind spending money is sometimes life happens. We get stressed out. And some of us, instead of eating, we go out and we buy clothes, we go out and shop for things because it's a stress relief. And actually it's a temporary stress relief because you have to pay those bills. So we spend, spend, spend and thinking that's going to make us happy, but that's not going to make us happy. It's for the moment. Maybe it's a little exciting for the moment. Maybe it's a little stress relief for the moment. But when the bills come in, when you have to pay for this stuff, it's a different story then. So let's be careful with having that as a habit or an addiction to spending money to relieve something, whether you're happy, whether you're sad. But sometimes I get so stressed out until if I could just go buy something, sometimes I get so stressed out if I could just go get an ice cream cone. I get so stressed out if I could just eat until I pop. You know, there are different ways people handle stress. And so let's just keep this in mind and be reminded that spending money could be one of the reasons that that you're coping with to help you with that stress. But it's not a very good reason, and you can go broke behind this. Now, I want you to know that the spending money thing is not to guilt anyone, but it's about control. It's about controlling how your money is spent, what you're putting your money on, what you're not spending your money on, that type of thing. And I can tell you that I've gone through the stages of, I got my paycheck. This is when I was a lot younger. I got my paycheck, and if I had 50 cents left, I was trying to figure out how I was going to spend that last 50 cents. I had to spend everything that I had from my paycheck before I was satisfied. Once it was all gone, then I didn't have any more decisions to make. I didn't have any money to worry about until the next paycheck rolled around. I went from that, which is on one end of the spectrum, to trying to save as much as I possibly could. The last phase, when I was working, trying to save, trying to invest, I got into the habit of saving as much as I possibly could. Now, I did spend some money on some things that I wanted, but after I retired just a couple of years ago, basically, I was so much into the saving phase until I was like, ooh, should I spend money on this? Should I spend money on that? How long is that going to last me? Even though I was secure and had a plan for retirement, sometimes you get into the saving so much and so deep until it's hard to spend. I've lightened up, as you guys know, with the things I've been purchasing lately. I've lightened up on the spending, and I'm having a strategy for spending. I still have security in some areas, but I have a strategy for spending, and it's not about guilt. What I spend intentionally. So that is one of the keys to spending money wisely, is to spend intentionally on the things that you really want, that's really valuable for your life. And these other things that are frivolous, just don't spend money on them. No matter what your friends are buying, what they're doing, you do what's best for you and your family. It's always a good time to spend a little money, and it's always a good time to hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you. We are here. You guys, we're on the move. Thank you guys for coming in. Thanks for joining. We just hit one milestone. We're headed toward another milestone, and I appreciate every single one of you. All the comments. I love the comments. I answer as much as I possibly can, the comments. So keep sending those comments in. Keep staying in touch with me. I'm loving it all. Now, I did mention one of the very first things as far as spending money to go broke is that you didn't have track where your money's going. And of course, I'm going to say the B word. The very best way you can track your money is a budget, a very detailed budget, especially if you're in debt. You need a budget. So that is the very best way you can track where your money's going, and you tell your money where to go. Within that budget, you guys, there will be a category for fun. So if you make enough money where when all your bills are paid off, there's still some money left over, you can have the fun category, the spend free category, anything like that, to go out to eat every now and then category, whatever you want to title it, and have that category in there as a part of your budget. Put that in there. Put your investments. How much are you putting every month into investments? What are you putting into your savings? All of that go into the budget. It becomes a line item, so it's automatic. You're paying yourself first while you're paying your bills and everything else that you have to pay. So the budget is the very best way you can do this. There's another method that you can use. If you tell me, Adrian, there's absolutely no way that I'm doing a detailed budget, okay, if you don't want to do that, but I warned you that that is the very best way. There is another way that you can do this. You can actually allow a certain percentage for your take-home pay. Whatever your take-home pay is, you can have, whether it's 70, 20, 10, 60, 20, 20, whatever you want to have, as long as it equals up to 100%. 70% for living expenses. And this is just an example, but if you take 70% of your take-home pay for living expenses that you have to pay out, and then you take 20% for things that you want to invest in and savings and that type of thing, and 10% for the other things that you want to do, just, have fun with, or whatever it is you want to do. Now, make sure you include in these categories, whether it's living expenses, the things such as if you're going to give to charitable events on a consistent basis, make sure that's in there. Make sure your savings is in there, that type of thing. But if you want to have just a certain percentage, and it could be you put 70% in a checking account or some account that's where all of your operating expenses for the month will come out of. And then you can send that 20% straight to a savings account, investment account, or however you're doing that. Send that over there, and then you can have the 10% to do however you want to. But that is another way of tracking your money. So if the 10%, let's say it comes out to $200 is your 10%, you can take that $200 in cash if you want to. And, on the weekends, if you want to go out to eat, whatever it is. But once the $200 for that month is used up, guess what? You go home and you're at home. You don't have any more money to spend. You don't have to worry about it, right? So if you want to do that, but that is another way of tracking, but do something. Just don't do anything, because I just have a sneaky feeling that a lot of us, we're going broke behind spending money. We're living paycheck to paycheck and going broke. So admit it to yourself, get this up under control before the year is over, so we can make progress in our finances. Now, this tracking of your money is not to limit the things that you like to do. I like camera equipment, right? So if I like camera equipment, all I have to do is build it into my budget or build it into a savings. And once I get that amount, go buy the piece of camera equipment that I want. I've bought several pieces of camera equipment lately, but they've been paid for. I ordered them and they get paid for right away. So it's in the plan, because that's what I like to spend my money on. That's what I like to do. Some of you have a shoe fetish. If you like shoes, go for it, but build it into your budget so nothing is lacking and you're still investing something in other places. So make sure you do that. But this is not to punish you. This is not to penalize you or anything like that. All I'm saying is to build it into your budget. One of the other things I mentioned was a spending strategy. And I know that you're saying, Adrian, you're talking to us about spending and everything. I can recall you just bought a car about a year ago, and it was a luxury car. Yes, you're right. I did buy a luxury car, and it was guiltless spending because, you all, I had not purchased a vehicle for the last about 10 years, right? So I was saving up for my next vehicle. I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know how long I was going to wait to do it. I still have my truck. But that was saved up for, that was in the plan, that was in the strategy, that was aligned with my values. I had a plan and a strategy to one day get another car, a vehicle that I wanted to drive, that I like to drive, try something different that I've never had before. So that was in the plan, that was in the strategy, and I did not go broke behind purchasing that vehicle. Okay, so that being said, you can get the things that you want, even if it is a luxury this or something that you probably just wouldn't go out and buy every day. But put it in the plan, put it in the strategy, and then you won't go broke behind this, because nothing is going lacking. Nothing will go lacking for you, and you will have the money that you need to purchase that, and you won't purchase it as a debt. Things like that, that's a depreciating asset. It's an asset because it's worth something, but it goes down each and every year. So in order to combat that, I don't want debt on a depreciating asset, right? So keep that in mind, that you can still get the things that you want to get as long as you save for it, put it in the plan, have a strategy for it, and spend that money. Since you have stayed with me this far, I'm going to give you some bonus tips. This is the biggest bonus tip that really in this whole video, is to have your own guidelines, your own rules as far as your spending. Okay. And what do I mean by this? This is something that you tell yourself that nobody else has to know about. Such as for me, one of my guidelines is if I'm going to buy a luxury item, I need to be able to buy it twice before I'll buy it once. So whatever I paid for the Benz, I had to have enough money to purchase two of them. Of course, I didn't purchase two, but whatever it is, I'm going to have to be able to buy it twice in order to buy it once. And that's my own personal strategy. You do that and you will never be broke, because you will always have that amount of money sitting in an account or investments or somewhere, and you don't have to regret buying whatever it is that you want to get. You can still live the life you want to live and buy what you want to buy and still not be broke behind it. Another thing that I do is, and you can steal this one too if you want, is my zero is not zero. So once my accounts get to a certain level and it's not zero, I stop. I have to pause on it. It may be $500. Once an account gets down to 500, guess what? I can't use that account anymore. Or once my credit cards get up to a certain amount, I'll pause on it, because I know I need to pay them off each and every month. Nothing is going to be carried over to the next month because I'm not paying interest. You all know what I feel about interest. So, but these are little rules that I have. So my zero and somebody else's zero is different, right? Some of my accounts, I just don't let them get below a couple of $1,000 because I feel uneasy when they get down below a certain amount, So I make sure that my zero is, once I get down to that boundary level, that low level, that's when it's cut off for sure. Now I try not to get there because I feel better and freer when I'm not there. But if I have one of those months where I'm spending quite a bit of money, or some things come up that I need to spend quite a bit of money on, I have a bottom line that it cannot go below that. And it's not what I'm saying. Don't let yours be zero. If it's $50 or $100 and you can't get below that in your accounts, make that the rule and don't go below that. If you have to watch them or whatever it is you have to do, don't go below that. But that is another secret where you will never be broke when you're spending money. So hopefully we've had great conversation today. You've picked up some tips about how to spend money, because it's not, exactly, how to spend money, but as far as your plan for spending money and not going broke, hopefully I've helped you with that. And with that, I will see you in the next video.